Hey guys, it is your girl AP and welcome back to my channel. I have so much to talk about, but I don't want to give it to you guys all at once. I know I promised continuity and I absolutely meant that, but as I always tell you guys, life be lifing. So what exactly has happened? On June 27th, 2022, I officially had total arthroplasty of the left hip. And for those of you who are not newcomers, you already know that means I finally had my hip replacement. I cannot begin to find the appropriate words that really can express how grateful I feel, how overjoyed I feel. And every time I go to talk about it, despite it have been 1 week post-op at this point, I want to cry. And not tears of pain, but tears of absolute gratitude and joy. As I was coming to at the end of my surgery, my surgeon leaned over and he looked at me and he said, "Your hip was god-awful." And that stuck with me. And as I was in recovery and was gaining my feeling back in my legs and whatnot, I cried. I cried because he was right. My hip was god awful. And I felt every excruciating moment of that god awfulness for 5 years. It has been a journey, and I can honestly say that there's been growth in mind and body. We all know I had weight loss surgery back in August of last year. And to be on that journey, to just be able to get to this point, I went in with some preconceived notions, which I have since stated. You know, I have a better understanding now. So one of my chief issues was that they wanted me to lose weight before getting hip replacement. And I was super frustrated. And I'm just like, why can't they make, joints or replacement parts to put in the body that can sustain the weight of large people? Because large people exist. I still stand by that argument. But I am so glad that I waited until my body was feeling better, because it is absolutely feeling better since weight loss. And I've had the opportunity to strengthen myself in prehab, because the resiliency that I've been able to experience post-op, I don't think would have existed with the issues that I was contending with prior to weight loss surgery. Understanding the risks that come with surgery just in general, like blood clots, respiratory issues, and knowing that those risks are increased with more body mass, really gave me pause to think about when I thought that I was ready, I really wasn't. And again, that does not make any of the experiences of fat phobia that I've had in healthcare any less real. But I really had to sit there and process which doctors were engaging in fat phobia and which doctors were absolutely looking out for my health. And I'm so fortunate that I came across Dr. Burkle, who did my surgery for my hip, and Dr. Proctor, who performed my duodenal switch, because the both of them literally have had my best interest at heart, and I'm grateful for it. This has not been easy. I've had 2 major surgeries within a 10-month span. So there's a lot of emotion coming up for me. There are a lot of things triggering me, and honestly, I had to call my therapist and schedule an emergency appointment for this coming Thursday, because I wasn't scheduled to see her until next week. But I figured it's better for me to address these things as they're happening, because I need some resolve. Part of me understands where some of these things are coming from. But as I've been through my journey with trauma therapy, it's unpacking a lot for me. And that's making me more self-aware, and I'm actually better equipped to start connecting the dots as to why these physical things, such as surgery, are having such an emotional impact on me. And here's the way I could best put it. I think, as my therapist put it, I've been living in trauma response for so long. Like, my decision making has been like one long stream of trauma response consciousness. And to be in a position in my life now where I'm making decisions not based in trauma and making an intentional and active effort to start to heal my trauma versus burying it, it is heavy. And what these surgeries symbolize for me is a healing. Because the body that I was in was carrying so much trauma, and this current body that I am in is still carrying trauma, but the physical trauma is being healed in a way that is opening up the doors for me to heal the emotional trauma, if that makes sense. And I honestly firmly believe in holistic health and that the mental and physical aspects of our health go hand in hand. There's no separating them. If the mind is not well, the body is not well. And if the body is not well, the mind is not well. So to be in that space of ready to focus on healing my health holistically, it's opening up so much that I was holding on to. And sometimes I'm resentful for it because of the emotions it makes me feel, the things that have been buried that I'm now having to address. But in the same breath, each time that I'm dealing with it head on, I'm feeling my shoulders relax a little bit more, and I'm feeling myself breathe a little bit better and feel a little bit better. The entire time that I've been going through this journey, I'm sure you guys, if you follow me on Instagram or you read my blog, you've heard me mention how I really got stuck on, like, how can I be this age dealing with these health issues? But I feel like, a while back I had heard a talk. A brother in my congregation giving a talk, and he stated, because I firmly do not believe that God gives us tribulations, and that's a whole nother conversation, and put scripture here. I do not believe that God tries us. However, I do believe that He helps sustain us, He helps us cope, but also, despite what we go through, there is always a lesson. There's always something to get from the circumstance. And it doesn't mean that God put you there, but He does give you the insight and ability to have discernment in order to understand the lesson you are supposed to be learning. And through this journey with my body, I am learning so much about resiliency, what strength actually is, and not condemning myself for my humanity, and also understanding my limitations. And modesty is a lesson that I've needed to learn continuously through my life. And not in the sense of like, oh, keep your body covered from head to toe, but modesty in terms of knowing your limitations, knowing what your capabilities are. And that's something that I've struggled with because I will always throw on the cape. I've been that person for so long. It's instinctive to me at this point. So to actually have had to sit down somewhere and make intentional choices of not trying to cape for everything and everybody around me, and stop trying to push through the pain and start acknowledging my pain, start acknowledging my emotions. It's forced me to have to recognize I indeed do have limitations. I am not Superwoman. It's not all in me. And that has been not only sobering, but it's also been very liberating. So as I'm recovering and I'm going through physical therapy, and I find myself wanting to rush the process, namely because I was down for so long before the weight loss surgery, and then getting back that modicum of freedom that weight loss has allowed with my body, just to be seated once more again, to slow down, to allow my body to heal. I was quick to feel resentful about it, but one of the things that I have to keep telling myself is you are healing. You are healing. And in order for you to have a healthy healing process, you've got to slow down and you've got to allow it to happen. And that is where that modesty kicks in, AP. That is where those limitations kick in, AP. That is where it's time for you to check yourself. And I love that I have a systems of checks and balance within my husband, within my children, because they will check mom quickly, within my family and my close friends. And I'm very fortunate to have a support system that for the most part understands these nuances that make up me and are willing to learn the complexities and the layers of my responses to things. and support me in my endeavors to be healthy in mind and body. And that has been amazing. Something I'm currently struggling with that I hadn't intended to or didn't anticipate has been emotional eating. I'm not going to delve too heavy into it here because I do fully intend to write an entire blog article about it after this. But to be in that space of seeking comfort in food, like for the first time in a while, feeling the emotional desire to seek comfort in food, it scares me. It makes me sad. It makes me frustrated because now that I am aware of what I'm doing, I'm literally facing the choice to make a good decision for myself or one that's not so good for myself. And the amount of accountability is vicious. And I have to be honest in saying I don't want the responsibility, but it's nobody's responsibility but my own. So that's been an interesting space to be in. But the good thing is I'm glad I've been able to vocalize it to my husband and tell him, like, this is what I'm feeling right now. This is what I'm going through right now. It's also part of why I wanted to have my therapy session with my therapist a week earlier, because I think it's really important for me to get a handle on that aspect, because I do not want to undo all of the work that led to me being able to have weight loss surgery. And I also don't want to go back to old habits that aided in my debilitating health. And that's also sobering, is recognizing that while there were many things that were genetically wrong with me, that were diseases that I had no control over, my choices did not necessarily make those situations better and exacerbated the negative sides of those illnesses that I was contending with. It's like having a second chance and not wanting to drop the ball. So it's really important for me to hold myself accountable. That's why I'm choosing to be transparent and share these things, because I think it's important that if you're coming here for some sort of inspiration or just because you want to relate, that you understand it's not all, uphill from here. And, I never have to worry about these things again. So as long as I am imperfect, I believe these will be things that I have to contend with for the remainder of my time. And I anticipate that I'm sure there'll be moments where I will fail. But it's how long I let myself fail, how long I allow myself stay down, and how much modesty I can apply, but also how much resiliency I can apply. So there's a lot. I know I just gave you guys a lot. But the most important thing is I wanted to be able to share here with my YouTube channel what's going on with my health. I got to look at my lab work. Besides me having raging anemia, which keeps me cold while everybody else is stripping in my household because it's 100 degrees outside, I'm like running to the sun. But that's a conversation for another day. I'm just so pleased to see regular labs with no flags, no issues, no, we have to track this, we need to monitor this. And, I know that can change in the blink of an eye. So for as long as I have that, I want to enjoy it, and I want to lean into it, and I want to take off running. Not literally, although that would be nice eventually, but metaphorically speaking, I want to take off running with the second chance that I've been given. So I hope that you guys take the opportunity to check out my blog. It's apyoungblog.com. Of course, I'll drop it down in the description below. Guys, make sure you're following the A&J podcast as well. It's me and my husband doing our thing. Engage with it. I post the videos here. They're on Spotify. I know building an audience and things like that is hard to do, and I'm determined to do it because I'm passionate about what I do, and my intentions are pure. And so whether the audience grows or not, I'm glad to be able to be doing the things that I love to do with my husband, for myself, for my brand. Currently, I'm going to be putting a pause on my APY blog Instagram page. I don't feel like getting into it, but it's being deactivated to see if that helps alleviate some issues I've been having. In the meantime, I dropped the new, well, not new handle, it's a handle I've already had, but at the beginning of this video, but I will drop everything down below in the description box. And yeah, y'all feel free to like and subscribe, and of course follow me on Instagram. I shall see you guys next time. Bye.